Hello everyone, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is a Q&A episode, so let's actually get started, shall we? So Benjamin, your questions. So first one, why is Apatosaurus more common than Diplodocus? Well, mainly it's because probably is that there was a much higher population of Apatosaurus, whereas Diplodocus, but smaller population than Apatosaurus. And so that probably is the case right there, is that the fossils of Diplodocus are considered a little rare compared to Apatosaurus. Apatosaurus has got a lot more fossil material in the Morrison Formation, and so that does probably play into effect there, is that there was probably a higher population, but also Diplodocus could probably be living in areas where, or be roaming around in areas where it's a little bit higher elevation, at times. So not really too high, but probably like a couple feet higher than Apatosaurus did, because Apatosaurus would be living towards the floodplains pretty much, whereas Diplodocus can be in the floodplains. It's just that they probably were in a little bit more higher elevation, but that's still to be determined. But it's more likely because the Apatosaurus population was higher than Diplodocus. How are the Tyrannosauria different from Tyrannus? Well, Tyrannus is part of the Proceratosauridae family of tyrannosaurs. And so that makes a whole difference right there. Is that, because see, Tyrannus is still considered to be a primitive tyrannosaur, or like a basal form of a tyrannosaur. So that does play into effect, and also Tyrannus is the largest of the Proceratosauridae. And when we look at the Tyrannosauria, so that includes like Dryptosaurus, Apalachosaurus, they're a tad bit smaller than Tyrannus, and also like their features are looking a little bit more like later Tyrannosaurs. So like much larger skulls, deeper skulls. The teeth are getting more robust, and the arms are getting shorter. So that pretty much kind of plays into a fact right there. That plays into what these animals' differences are. So with Tyrannus, they still got a little bit of like the bumps or ridges on their skull that are similar to like other Proceratosauridae. Proceratosauridae also have crests on their nasals, so that makes a difference. And also their arms are much longer too. And that's why we actually look at Proceratosauridae and Tyrannosauria as like they're still primitive tyrannosaurs. It's just that they're just completely different. Whereas the Tyrannosauria is a tad bit more advanced, whereas the Proceratosauridae are primitive. That's how you have to look at that. Why are Apatosaurus and Camarasaurus the most common sauropods in the Morrison Formation population? More to do to population, and also they're kind of on the smaller side of the sauropods that were in the Morrison Formation. So we're like Brachiosaurus, even like the larger Diplodocus species that was formerly known as Seismosaurus. Those are the longest ones, and also they actually are much larger, smaller population. Brachiosaurus would also have a smaller population. That's how it would go. There is that population size for Camarasaurus and Apatosaurus were probably high during the late Jurassic period of North America in the late Jurassic. And so that probably is the case there. And what was the armor of Saltasaurus used for? This is a good question. I like this question. So Saltasaurus is a type of sauropod from Argentina that actually has these osteoderms on its back. So osteoderms are basically bone that is in the skin. And so like you think of like crocodilians, for example. Crocodilians have osteoderms, so they have bones embedded in their skin, and that is like a suit of armor, or like chainmail inside, like in the skin, not in a certain way. Where we actually look at Saltasaurus, that would be the same thing, is that it's a form of chainmail in the skin. And so it's probably good use of armor against animals like, say, large theropods, so like a Belosaurus and maybe a Carcharodontosaurid, that would actually come on and basically try to attack from on the top of the back, because that's probably what was going on there. Is that a lot of the predators were able to attack the back, like the top part of the back of Saltasaurus's ancestors, and Saltasaurus is in the Titanosauria type of family as well, and so that kind of does play into a factor there, because Titanosaurs do have osteoderms, and we do know that because there are Titanosaur specimens that do have osteoderm like plates pretty much found right near the animal, right near the like say vertebrae and other parts of the animal. And so that makes sense, is that Saltasaurs did have a form of armor, I should say, a form of armor for them to protect themselves against predators. So that's more likely what they were used for. Could there be a display structure right there? That's a possibility too, is that maybe the males actually have like bigger ones because they need to show off to the females, showcasing their health and their size, and also against other rival males in terms of competition to see who's the one that's actually going to like get the females. That's probably how it went, but like it's more likely for defense purposes. But display structure could also be another factor there too. All right, Alex, your question. Do you think that Tyrannosaurs like Albertosaurus, Gorgosaurus, Daspletosaurus, Teratophonius, Lythronax, Bistahyversor, Apalachiosaurus, Streptosaurus saw sauropods that were similar to Alamosaurus? I would probably say, like, more likely not. I would say Lythronax is going to be the closest one to possibly see sauropods, but not necessarily, because Albertosaurus, Gorgosaurus, and Daspletosaurus, they live too far north for sauropods to actually be around at that point in time. If there were sauropods around during the time of that part of the late Cretaceous period, they would have to be in the southern part of North America. So more likely, like, say, Central America, like Mexico and other places of Central America. They did not get to, like, the United States part until probably a little bit more towards the end of the Cretaceous period. That's when we see Alamosaurus. There are Mexican sauropods that have been found in the late Cretaceous period, in the late Cretaceous rocks, that have been found there, but they're not technically Alamosaurus. They are relatives of Alamosaurus, and so that does play to a factor there. But yeah, and then when we look at, like, say, Teratophonius, like say Lythronax is going to be the closest, and Bistahyversor maybe, but like I'd say I highly doubt that. And then when we look at Apalachiosaurus or Streptosaurus, we do not have sauropod material in the eastern part of the United States in the late Cretaceous. We just do not have that. It's very rare to find sauropods in that area of the United States and parts of North America like that. So it really does come to a factor there, is that Apalachiosaurus and Streptosaurus did not see any sauropods. Whereas, and then your other question, how come there were no sauropods being found in the Hell Creek and in the Lance formations? Well, it's because Alamosaurus was living a little bit more closer towards the southern part of North America and not further north, because the southern part of North America, it was a little bit warmer, it was closer to the equator, and also you have probably more plant life there that Alamosaurus could take advantage of. Whereas, like, further north, like, the amount of plants were probably a little bit, like, less, and also it was probably a little bit too cold, a little bit too cool for Alamosaurus to be up there. Now, Tyrannosaurus Rex has seen Alamosaurus, because we do find Tyrannosaurus Rex teeth next to Alamosaurus fossils, because there's paleontological evidence that did happen. It's just mainly the southern Tyrannosaurus specimens were probably more, like, say, on the skinnier side, probably more agile, and also probably did depend on juvenile Alamosaurus more than than before, and so that probably came into a factor there. And plus, the Hill Creek and Lance formations actually have a little bit more swampier type of environment. Sauropods don't do well in swampier environments. They just don't. They need to be near like open areas, and so open areas is more likely going to be the best place for sauropods. Whereas like the Hill Creek and Lance formations, there's a lot of forests, and so the forests were probably going to be a factor for keeping away sauropods at that point in time. And so Alamosaurus would not go further north than say Texas and New Mexico, and so that's more likely what happened. That's more likely what happened. And so those are the questions I got for you today. Next week will be a special episode. I'll let you guys know what kind of prehistoric animal I'm going to do. And so that way you guys know I'll post that sometime this weekend. So stay tuned for that. You can still send me questions about dinosaurs and other prehistoric life by emailing me at dinochris71@gmail.com, or just go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you guys should post your questions in the comment section. Please put them in the comment section. Don't put them on Messenger. Messengers are private conversations only, and so please put your questions in the comment section on any Facebook post. And also for you YouTubers out there, like the videos, subscribe to the channel. According to my analytics, a lot of you guys are checking out my channel, not subscribed yet. So please feel free to hit that subscribe button. Also hit the like button, because that's how the YouTube algorithm works. The more likes the video gets, the more likely the video gets spread out to people that are interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. And also share the videos, share the channel to anybody that is interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. And also hit that notification bell so that way you can get weekly notifications of every video that comes out weekly. And also if you go on my channel, you can also hit the post tab. I post updates on videos, news in paleontology, mainly in dinosaurs. Even though there are going to be times I will post like a pretty cool discovery in terms of maybe a reptile, a mammal, that sort of thing from time to time. But dinosaurs are going to be the main focus for news. And also, if you go on the post tab, I also post polls every 3 days on the channel, so that way you guys can participate in the polls, and you guys are amazing in participating in those polls, and it's awesome to see. And also for you YouTubers out there, leave your questions in the comments section, because I do read them all. All of you guys are sending me questions via email, Facebook, and YouTube. You guys are awesome. You're giving me some great questions for these Q&A episodes, so keep up the great work. And also make sure you keep your questions short and to the point. You can also follow me on Instagram at dino.chris.pf. I'll post pretty cool stuff on there. You can also follow me on Threads, same thing, at dino.chris.pf. I'll post pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also, take care of people around you. And also for you younger people out there, and make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have for good education. It's very important to have a good education. With a good education, you're going to do a good job in the future. And also show you guys a little bit of a real fossil right here. This is a shark tooth right here, more likely from the Miocene or Pliocene. And this is more likely going to be a mako, an ancient mako shark tooth. And I know it's a mako because there is no serrations on this. I know a lot of you are going to be saying, no, that's a meg, that's a meg. It is not a megalodon, I can assure you that, because one, there is no scarring on the bottom part of the tooth. Megalodon teeth have that like scar that is near the root of the tooth. This one does not. This does not have that scar there on the tooth. So this is more likely going to be an ancient mako. And so mako sharks were around during the time of Megalodon, even past that. So that's actually really cool. And this tooth is awesome. I got this at a rock and gem show that happened not too long ago in my area in the early part of May of this month. And so that actually is awesome that I got this. And it is a really cool tooth. And so, yeah, this is an ancient mako shark tooth right there. There's the fossil for you right there. So every Q&A episode, I will show you a replica or even a fossil or even a mineral to have you guys be interested in this kind of stuff. All right, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.